I'm sceptical that even with the best of arrangements on leaving, there would be a big medium-term gain, and there would be, I fear, quite a big short-term loss. I'm Nick Crafts, Professor of Economic History at the University of Warwick, and I'm going to be talking about the impact that EU membership has had on British economic performance, to see what implications there might be for a discussion of Brexit. I'm interested in EU membership and macroeconomic performance. If we look at the standard indicators, I think it has virtually no effect on the rate of inflation because we've stayed outside the euro. It has virtually no effect on the rate of unemployment because unemployment is determined by things which are run by domestic policy, institutions and so on. But it has had an effect on productivity. The effect on productivity comes through the impact of EU membership on trade. EU membership has raised trade levels a lot, and that has been very pro-productivity, I think. Reasonable guess is that the level of productivity is probably the order of 10% higher than it would be had we not joined the EU. When we joined, it was at perhaps a particularly opportune moment. We'd been very protectionist. We had weak competition. Those issues, perhaps to an extent, are in the past. And so we need to be cautious in drawing lessons from history for what we should do today. The main benefit of joining the EU has been to improve the level of income per person in the UK. That's happened because we've become more efficient, more productive, there's been a bit more investment, there's been a lot more competition. It's probably reasonable to think that income levels are about 10% higher than they would have been had we stayed out. The really important issue about Brexit is what will happen to barriers to trade, the costs of doing trade once you leave the EU. What happens there is much more important for future prosperity than issues of the net budgetary contribution, the fiscal transfers. And there are a variety of things that could happen. We could more or less stay in the single market, but as an EEA sort of member, a bit like Norway, something of that sort. That probably minimises the impact on trade costs, but of course comes with free movement of people, so some people won't like that. If you were to leave and not be in the single market, you could certainly negotiate new trade agreements. You could even become a unilateral free trader. But the uncertainty of where we would end up means I think it's impossible to put a number on how costly it would be. I think if we were to leave now, we wouldn't really be giving up all the gains we've had. We've been in the single market. We did deal with a lot of the competition issues that joining the single market was good for. It may be not a massive cost, but it could nevertheless be a significant cost. I would take it to be a very risky thing to do. My view is that the economic argument points to staying in. If you care a lot about sovereignty, that's a completely different issue. And I can respect people who would think, on a principle of deciding our own affairs, we wish to come out. But that's a political argument, not an economic one.